I'm feeling a bit under the weather on Comic Book Cannon. That's right. I'm not feeling well, people. It's not COVID. Been testing myself since Thursday. Hopefully it's not still COVID. Or it's not COVID, but I haven't been feeling well, but we're feeling great being back after our week off last weekend. I'm gonna share my enthusiasm, but I want Chris, my partner, my co-host, my good friend. Chris, how excited are you that you're back on this fine Sunday?
I'm dampered by you not feeling well. It sucks, but I have a feeling that we're still gonna have an awesome show.
You're damn straight we're going to have an awesome show. We're going to be giving away a slab. Justin, a.k.a. Saul Marshall 007. We're going to be announcing the winner of Fresh from the Comic Shop from March. And super excited for our guest co-host coming back. He's an alumni. Drew, a.k.a. Como Comic Books. It's going to be a jam-packed show. Super excited. Are you just as excited as me?
You forgot a super in there.
Super excited. But before we do that, why don't we say hello to people real quick? We got Dan De La Torre. Yo. He called it. Nice to see Doctor Strange in the background. That's fantastic. I am super impressed with that, everybody. We got Lowbrow Euphemia. We got Raw Dog Comics. We got Cable Leland, a.k.a. Caleb. We got Brian Wilson. We got Peter Thornton. We got Spider Dude 71. Jordan Nori, Jacob Merch, aka Jacob Comics. I do believe you have a YouTube. Why don't you give us that link? We'll put it up for you. Who else do we got? We got Bargesa. Go Saul Marshall. Yep, Saul Marshall will be joining us. Simon R. Who else do we have? We got a good crew here. Good. Crew, super excited. And Comic Noob. What's going on, guys? All right, let's just get into it, guys. Chris, it was an exciting week last week. You and I both got some rest, but we also got to get into it and watch a little something from the MCU. Is that right, Chris? Is that right?
Absolutely.
What was it?
Oh, just a little show on this streaming service called Disney Plus with, some guy that is called Moon Knight.
That's right. We're going to give you some Moon Knight reactions. We want to know what you guys all think as well. No spoilers or we will kick you out. But Chris, oh my goodness, I enjoyed this thoroughly. Chris, take it away.
Well, look, guys, this was one episode in. We had a lot of fan reaction coming in already. There was a lot of downers because the initial review, the Rotten Tomatoes was 78. I think it's up at 89 now. But take that back. But Disney Plus, now there has been some announcements with the show from Disney Plus. Their chronological ordering of all the MCU properties confirms that Moon Knight takes place directly after Hawkeye. So that gives us a little context to when the show is taking place. This would make it the most recent or quote unquote current show within or current time frame for a show within the MCU, landing in somewhere around 2024. Obviously, following the events of Hawkeye. So, the one thing that we see in the first episode is that nothing's really correlating it to anything to make us feel like we need to know where it's at. I think we're going to get some of that later on in the show, and it might, of course, as they always do, tie in more things that are upcoming, either maybe later on this year or upcoming next year, whether that be the Disney Plus shows or the theatrical releases. But man, one episode in, and I watched it 2.5 times already.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll get to Drew in a bit. I'm just questioning this. Not that we're not gonna bash him or anything, but it was just solid from Drew. Interested to hear his take. But for me, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was a great way to introduce Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, and we didn't see Jake Lockley. I think the third persona is. I thought it was a great way to introduce who this character is to the mainstream. Without spoiling it too much, I like how we follow the character of Stephen Grant. We don't see what we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that, but it's really well done. I'm super psyched. Apparently, episode 4 is bonkers and leaves you on a major cliffhanger because a lot of media outlets got the first 4 episodes to review the series. And apparently 5 and 6 are even crazier, according to the director. So I'm excited to see where this thing is going. He looks amazing in the suit. You know we got Mr. Knight coming. So, also, I don't know, Chris, you said this in an interview with Variety. Oscar Isaac reveals his contract only covers this series. So he did not want to be locked into something long-term. However, he did say if this is successful, people enjoy this, and if there's more story to tell, which, I mean, come on. There's a ton of story to tell. We'll see him back. We have to see him back. Again, let's see how this plays out. I think it's a 6-episode series. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, I do believe so. And I would relate it to him playing Poe Dameron in the Star Wars films. Like, for as much controversy that was around that, and I can't say what the experience was like for the actors making those films, you know, but from what is put out to the public, there was some riffs here and there. I am very hoping too that not only are we looking at the success, but just the experience. I hope that him, you know, being a part of this universe that continues to grow, working with the people that he's working with, and even, you know, the executives and everyone involved in Marvel Studios, I really feel like he's going to fit into this family and want to be a part of it for a long time to come. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I agree too. The director, he doesn't have much say. He's great doing these interviews. He's like, I don't know anything. Like, yeah, I'm not the mastermind's Kevin Feige. I'm just here to produce an excellent show. But he did say he's hoping to get Moon Knight into the Avengers. So I don't know. The possibilities are endless. Loving how it started so far. But we're going to move on to some other, not MCU news, Marvel on-screen news, because we got some Morbius reactions now. And before we get into much, we do have the Rotten Tomatoes score, which as of today, 17% on the tomato meter with critics, but a 69% audience score. Mm-hmm. So that's quite interesting. I'll tell you what. When I saw the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, I was like, Sony did it to us again. Because you and I were like, that trailer's awesome. All the trailers were awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, shit, they did it to us again. However, you, sir, have something to say, don't you?
Me?
Yeah, no, the other guy behind you.
Oh, no, I don't know. You were looking somewhere. Anyways, yeah, I mean, look, I say this. It doesn't deserve a 17% Rotten Tomato score. It doesn't. I don't know if people have it out for Jared Leto or what's going on. Obviously, I hated his Joker, but I don't think it was his fault. This was a movie that I went to. I sat and watched it, and I was entertained. It was like, you know, I think the plot, you know, they had to work around not again having another character in a solo film without having Spider-Man. That of course changes the context of it all. I think they could have did without the detectives in the film. That's all I'll say about that. But look, I mean, it was a decent performance, and I would like to see him take this character, you know, elsewhere and just see what happens. But, you know, it's not, it is Sony, and it is kind of Sony doing what they're doing. It's Drew, actually, I'll let him say this when he comes onto the show, but if we bring it up, but he made a statement about it, and it was a good analogy. So, you know, I didn't go into this expecting much. It was a movie that I could have waited for on demand and just sat and watched and said, oh, cool. That was a cool couple of hours of my life, you know. But nowhere do I feel that it deserves a 17%. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to see it this week. Okay, I was planning on seeing it this weekend. I didn't get a chance to. I'm going to see it this week. I don't know if we'll bring it up in the show next week, but we'll see. I hope they allow, because I think it's great casting. I think he looks awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, how the action was or anything like that, but everything looked cool in that trailer, and I was surprised. So, we'll take it from there. But okay, moving back to kind of Disney Plus news, Chris, and this is going to be a lot. This is going to be hard to take in. Am I right?
Yeah, guys, be prepared, especially for you Star Wars fans.
Yeah, this is really disappointing.
Man, Obi-Wan has been delayed again, folks. Very,
God.
very bad news. Huge Star Wars fan myself. When I heard this, I'm like, can we catch a break here? So Ewan McGregor came out and made a public statement confirming that the Obi-Wan series has yet again been delayed. The show was slated for a May 25th release, but guys, that is not happening. And this was shortly after fans enjoyed catching that first series trailer, that amazing trailer. It was just so epic. So right after we get that, we're hit with this news that the show won't premiere now on May 25th. We have to wait all the way until May 27th.
Ah, we got you.
Like,
nailed it.
How dare they do this to us? I mean, come on.
Oh, everybody was freaking out. Just freaking out, I could tell. Well done, Chris. You set it up perfectly. 2 days later, for God's sake.
Okay, for those that can't wait, 2 extra days, just chill. Get through your work week, get off Friday and go, get yourself some popcorn, get yourself some snacks, some candy, go chill at home. Because guess what? On Friday, you're going to have all night to watch not 1, but 2 episodes.
Yeah, he's so excited. He's frozen.
Live action Star Wars pieces since the original trilogy.
Super. Well done, Chris. You set it up perfectly. By the way, Drew is booing you, I think. We'll have him clarify that. As we should be taking notes, actually. He's already causing trouble. He's not even on camera yet. We haven't taken him. All right, but hey, I'm psyched. I'm cool with this. Again, because everything was, used to be released on Fridays with Disney Plus. So I'm down with this, especially we get 2 episodes, and then we have to wait till Wednesday, right? The next Wednesday. So I love it. I'm not sure is this a 10-episode series, I believe?
I do not know at the top of my head.
I want to say 10 episodes or 8 to 10. It's more than Moon Knight. So again, super, super excited. I have no problem with that, as should everybody else not have a problem with that. So
right.
Again, we're going to probably see another trailer coming soon, and we can't wait for that. All right, moving on to the DCEU. That's right, we got DCEU news as the main villain from Blue Beetle has been cast. That villain is going to be played by Sharon Stone. Victoria Cord, a newly created character just for this film, is going to be the antagonist. And they are collecting some fantastic talent on this film that is now going to be in theaters, not HBO Max. So that's right there. She's Academy Award nominee. She's been in a ton of stuff. So that's good news right there. I like that they're bringing all these people on, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, here's DC.
Color you unimpressed.
What's that?
The color you unimpressed. You went, yeah, well.
Oh. No. I'm just putting it into words in a sense that DC's taking little risks here, steering away from the comics again. We had that with the Batwoman CW show and how they had to create this whole new character and then bring her back into comics. Obviously, those were different circumstances. They were kind of forced into that situation. But look, if, again, we go back to DC and their track history, and as long as it works, give us some stuff that's going to entertain us and make us leave the theater or leave watching HBO Max, whatever, enjoying what we saw. So, I mean, I always say this whenever we talk about DC. I'll really have an opinion on it when I see it, because I can look at all these things and be optimistic about them. Sharon Stone, she's a great actress. I haven't seen her do much in a while now, though. I don't think so. Yeah,
I'm psyched though. I think the DCEU is on a good track right now. Maybe because we're just fresh off of Peacemaker. I'm feeling good about things though. We got a lot of good things coming. I mean, the Batman wasn't DCEU. It was a solid film, though. I want to see what they've created, though. I want to see them fix the mess that was created and give props, give the respect due to these characters, get rid of these executives. Hopefully, this merger between Discovery Channel and what have you, and this Warner Brothers merger, it will shake some things up, because there's a few executives that have really shit the bed on these properties. So that's all I'll say about that. And finally, guys, we are about 1 month away. 1 month away from the Doctor Strange sequel, and tickets go on sale this Wednesday the 6th. How fantastic is that? Happy days. Happy days indeed. Also, of note, the film is clocking in at 128 minutes and will be released on May 5th. We already know that. I do have to say, full disclosure, Chris is frozen again. With that being said, though, Dan De La Torre brought up a very good point on Moon Knight episode 6 happens on May the 4th, and Doctor Strange debuts 2 days later. So that's going to be an interesting one. Absolutely, 100%. All right, so here we go. We got Chris. I'm going to give him a little WhatsApp nudge. Be like, hey, buddy, you are frozen. You guys should talk about it in the chat. Time out. But let's just do this. What's going on here? Whoa! Look at all the Watlocks there. What's up, Justin?
I just had to show those off. I couldn't help it.
Hey, I saw you doing that backstage. Wanted to bring you in because we had to just pivot here, right? Anyways, we're going to bring you back in now because you're not the special guest co-host, even though you are very special to us.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right, so you're getting kicked off for now. Peace. All right. So back, we got Chris. Man, AT&T.
We started talking about AT&T, and and I get booted.
It happened again. All right, guys. But right now, what is next, Chris? What is next? We have to bring our guest on. But before we do, why don't we just remind everybody that we will be giving away a slab. I don't have an image. Oh, you have the slab. Justin, the guy I just brought on.
Boom.
We'll be giving this away with a special trivia quiz. That's right. So stick around for that. Let me just take this little lower third down. Boom, indeed. All right. Here we go. Moving on, guys. I usually have these write-ups done, and I didn't do it because I'm like, oh, Drew's coming back. Como Comics. Everybody knows him. Guys, you know him. You love him. He creates amazing content. His YouTube link is below. We're going to ask him how many subs he wants tonight, and if we don't get to that goal, we will be canceling Comic Book Canon, as we always threaten to do. Luckily, we get to that goal. But seriously, the guy, he nails it. For anybody, for whatever budget you have, whether it be $20, whether it be $100, the best books to buy with that money. Follow him, like him, but also love him. Drew from Como Comics. How are you, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me back, guys. Congrats
Very
on
happy to have you back.
1,000 subs.
Thank you.
Oh, we have you have way more than 1,000 subs. You have 7.7 last time I checked.
Yeah, it looks like I just hit 7,775.
Well, here's the deal. How many more subs do you want to get during the show? Because if we don't get that goal, we are canceling Comic Book Canon for good.
Well, I mean, let's stick to an attainable goal here. We don't want to be greedy here on a Sunday evening. So let's say 25. If we can hit 7.8.
Guys, it was nice doing this show for the past 2 years.
With that, we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you.
Yeah, we've never done that. But how about this? How about we start with 5? We need to get at least 5 new subs. People don't listen to us that often, Drew.
Yeah.
Even if you attain the goals.
I'm going to be monitoring it too.
Yeah, we are definitely going to be watching it. The link is down below. It's super easy. And you guys may as well be following him on the Instagrams too.
Yeah.
Right here.
What I'll post there.
Here's the deal with these alumnus that are going to be coming back, people. We are not going to get into an interview with them, but they do have the opportunity of getting kicked off for being stupid. So
I can be first, right?
Oh, no. You wouldn't be first at that.
Oh, okay.
No, we kicked Dan off quite a few times, Dan De La Torre. So it's all good. But with that being said, real quick, can you tell us what new things are happening with Como Comics? Where people can see you, and what more can they expect to learn from you? If you have any new little kind of video ideas that you're going to be doing.
Oh, wow. I do have a few things I'm kicking around, not really sure what stage of development they're in. Right now, my main thing is I'm getting back on the road. I've got I'm 2 shows into 3 shows within a 5-week period. So kind of little road weary right out of the gate. So I've got a couple weeks till my big show of the year, which is in Kansas City for Planet Comic Con. Then I've got another show a few weeks after that in Oklahoma. So just really gearing back up kind of in the real world side of my comic experience here. And then at the same time, trying to stay on schedule with the content and stuff like that. One of the ideas I kind of have is I'm kicking around some more like themed top 10 lists, as opposed to just the budget element. So I've got one that I want to do, like just intellectual properties from like when I was a kid, like 80s and 90s stuff that, you know, we may have forgotten about, but things that actually wound up having a comic book series that, you know, we would have read as a kid, just nostalgia based stuff. And that the thought, the process behind that was like, you know, Thundercats blew up, then Silverhawks blew up, He-Man blew up. So it's just natural, you know, and Mario, all that. So it's just natural that we continue to dive a little deeper into that and maybe get a little spoon.
Interesting you bring that up, because I think you're foreshadowing a little bit of what we're going to be talking about in our top 10 segment today.
Nice.
Which we're just about to get into. But before we do, where can they find you, though, specifically?
As far as the internets or real world?
Real world.
Real world. Okay, real world. I will be at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City. It's April 22nd through the 24th, I believe. It's the big show for this region of the country. So basically, if you're anywhere between Denver, Chicago, and Dallas, this is the biggest show you're going to find inside of that triangle. After that, I'll be in Tulsa. That's early May. Then I'll be in Springfield, Illinois in the first week of June.
Whew. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. So
covering some ground.
I would love to meet you at one of those spots, mainly because I want to get one of your sweet hats or T-shirts that I see are UMIZ colors, right? Am I right?
Yeah. Good old Mizzou colors. I've been
Mizzou. My bad.
My high school basically just steals Mizzou's logo, color scheme, whatever. So I've been black and gold my whole life. So it's just natural that I kept repping it.
That hat's outstanding. I'm going to get one from you, no doubt about that. I will purchase it because I will support you, and you'll have to be supporting Drew as well. And if you like this show and you want to keep it on the air, he needs at least 5 new subs. So
there you go.
Click the link below and start following, or else we're done with this show. Done. All right. That being said, guys, we are moving on to the next segment. You did a great job of just that was kind of off the cuff interview because you're an alumnus. You've already got the varsity jacket that we'll never send you. You know what I mean? Like,
I can fill time, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, but we're going to move on. Chris, what do we got?
I'm ready to dish out our top 10 hottest comics of the week.
Oops. Damn straight you are. I wasn't ready to show those. I just wanted to bring. But it's also props or flops. Am I right? What Chris does here, he dishes out the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of Cover Price's data. That list is delivered on a Monday. Our show is on a Sunday. Chris likes to pick the 3 most interesting books from that list and see how they did in this past week. He'll give them props or flops. Chris, I need to write a better bit for that intro, but I think I did a good job there. Drew, I see the sense of approval on your face. I appreciate that greatly. Man, you are not going to get kicked off today, actually.
I just assume you're highly medicated, and anything that makes sense, you're knocking it out of the park.
Thank you. I do need some more medication. All right, here we go. We're just going to jump right into it in the top 10 hottest comics of the week are. At number 10, we have Amazing Spider-Man 265, the first appearance of Silver Sable. At number 9, we have Star Wars number 2. I believe that's the first appearance of Obi-Wan and Han Solo. Correct me if I'm wrong. At number 8, we have Point 1, the Nick Bradshaw variant, the first Sam Alexander, a.k.a. Nova. Number 7, we have JLA, Avengers Hero Initiative trade paperback. A lot of ugliness with this, which we should probably talk about. At number 6, we have Ghost Rider 31, the first full appearance of the Midnight Suns. At number 5, we have Voltron number 1, the first appearance of Voltron in comic books. At number 4, we have Secret Wars 2. Number 3, the first appearance of Beyonder in human form with that sweet, like, parachute pants. Look, he's dope. He's dope. At number 3, we have Point 1, the cover A, the first Sam Alexander. At number 2, we have Nova number 1, the first appearance of Nova, a.k.a. Richard Rider. And number 1, we have New Avengers number 40. First appearance of Varanke, the Skull Queen. Lots of rumors swirling about that with Secret Invasion coming. All right, Chris. So there we have it. You have 10 books, 3 on the list that you're going to give props or flops to.
They're on the list. We had a lot of carryover from last week, too.
Sure did.
So I talked about some of these other books the prior week. They stayed on. So I didn't want to talk about those again, although some of them are some solid books. But let's just go into my number 3. And Drew, this goes a little bit to what you were talking about a little earlier on. My number 3 pick is Voltron number 1. Talk about properties that we enjoyed when we were kids, ended up coming into the comic books. I still have mine from when I was a kid. So happy to see some Voltron making the list. I am a huge Voltron fan. Doesn't mean I'm just going to automatically give it props, though. We'll get to that after we analyze these numbers. Let's break this down. Now, remember, we're looking at last week's numbers when they hit the top 10, and then I'm giving you numbers current as of right now, this moment. So when it made the top 10, it had 154% upward trend in sales. When this list sale of $665. This week's high was $600. It was a listing on eBay for $699. Best offer accepted at $600. That is a 10% decrease in value, but as I always say when I talk about 9.8s or I talk about highs, don't get so focused on these highs as if they are a, total scope of what this book is doing on the market, okay? Sometimes highs can be outliers and they can be very misleading, but we'll move on. Now, the high sale prior to the announcement. Oh, yeah, by the way, the announcement was Voltron being optioned for a live action film. So that's what brought this book to this list and what, spiked these sales up. Now, prior to the announcement, a 9.8 sold for $500. That was back in January of this year. Now, let's look at raw books. Keep in mind that average raws, take them with a grain of salt because you're not pertaining to any specific grade. So average raw can be skewed because you might have some lower grade, you might have some high grades, and you know how we find averages? We add up all the sales dollar amounts and divide it by the units sold. So when this book hit the top 10 list last week, the average raw was $63. This week, as of today, the average raw is sitting at about $75. It's a 19% increase in value. So what is my take on this book, and do I give it props or flops? For one, as I said, I'm a huge Voltron fan. I am so excited about this live action property happening. I am a huge Transformers fan. Now, the comic book market was a bit of a different beast, 15 years ago now when the first Transformers film came out. I thoroughly loved the first Transformers film. Everyone after that, in my humble opinion, got worse and worse and worse until Bumblebee, because Michael Bay didn't direct that one. But we're not going to talk about Michael Bay, but I'm bringing up Transformers because even though a lot of diehard Transformers fans had issues with some of those live action films, they still helped catapult Transformers, the franchise, in so many ways. And I'm not talking about the dollar numbers for the films at the box office. It brought a younger generation into Transformers. I know because my kids were right there doing it. My kids would watch Transformers movie like every other day. They would memorize the lines. They would play with their Transformers toys, and then we'd go to the comic book store and buy the comics. I absolutely think that this Voltron film can do that. I am skeptical, though, because if it doesn't have the right money behind it, the right funding behind it, and the right people behind it, it can become a Power Rangers movie.
No.
Right now, and even though Michael Bay's films have elements that are like frustrating to diehard Transformers fans, they are still blockbuster films for certain reasons. I might not agree with it, but certain elements allow them to work and be successful and not be seen as like that Power Rangers movie, right? So I'm concerned with that. So now we got to ask the question, props or flops? I'm still going to give this book props. I don't think these numbers, and if you look at the average raws too, these numbers haven't increased a huge amount since this announcement. I mean, a 500 dollar sale in a 9.8, this book was still a solid book. And I think the real thing we need to look at in terms of the long-term value of this book kind of goes back to what Drew was saying in the beginning of the show. These properties from like the 80s that weren't necessarily originally comic book properties, like your Transformers #1, like your your Thundercats and all these comics, they're heating up right now for other reasons outside of being optioned or getting some live action going on here, right? They are becoming vintage nostalgia. And I think that right there is going to play well into this book long term, regardless of what happens to the film. But keep in mind, guys, be cautious. I always say this. Be cautious of investing in 9.8s. The 9.8 market is crazy right now. And just be patient if you're out there buying raws. But this does have the ability to swing really hard one way to the next if this film comes out and it does flop. But long term, I have a lot of hope and promise for this book.
Before I sneeze, Drew, your thoughts on Voltron #1. Thank you. God.
I agree, especially like on the raw side, because this book, it wasn't overly valuable, so it's really accessible still, and I think that's something that a lot of people are really looking for in the market right now, with all the other blue chip keys books that are always crazy popular and hot, just continuing to move further and further away from people's budgets. Things that kind of come up in the market like this that can still be easily attained, and you can still go back and you still have that connection to it, when you were a kid. Like Voltron doesn't mean a lot to me. I'm more of a Transformers age. I was just too young to catch Voltron. But the other properties like Thundercats that I loved, that was my experience when that book started to take off. So it's just the next chapter in that nostalgia book. Now the people who were Voltron fans can start digging in those back issue bins and digging this thing out, because I think I've got one, but it's pretty trash, but still somebody who loves that book and wants to spec on it a little bit, they can still pick up a low grade copy of it for $5 or $10, and that's good for the market, I think.
Now, Drew, you're kind of I know which way you lean towards in terms of like let's say Thundercats versus Voltron. But that being said, where do you see these books landing? Do you see Voltron coming anywhere near that Thundercats #1?
Honestly, I don't know what the print run looks like, because I know the Star books tend to be a little bit short run compared to some of the main titles, and I just haven't done the research on Voltron to really know what the initial print run was, how many of them are out there, to really be able to make an educated guess at this point. I know it's not something, it's not like I'm swimming in long boxes of it every time I go to a show or something, so I don't think it's something that's super common. But I would say, depending on the energy that the fan base has for it, it could be comparable, especially if we get closer to actual production of something. I know sometimes we get these flashes in the pan when something gets optioned, and then you never hear anything else about it. So if this is step 1, if we get to step 2 and step 3, at that point, I think it could definitely get to where, especially in the higher grades, where it breaks into the $150, $200 range if that demand does materialize.
I think this is going to be a key book. I really do. I think there's so much love for Voltron. I love Voltron just as much as I love Thundercats. For me, so maybe I'm speaking from my heart, especially being a kid at that time watching this stuff. But I can't imagine this book not kind of continuing the momentum. That being said, Voltron has been thrown around, as well as Thundercats, a lot as, they're moving forward with productions. I remember back in the day, after Tobey Maguire did his first Spider-Man film, he was pushing for Voltron. It was, Tobey Maguire's on board for Voltron. It's going to happen. I remember back in the day, Brad Pitt was going to be a Lion-O for Thundercats. Here we are. We still haven't seen a movie from either of those. So again, I would wait till this dips, because this book will dip. It will dip. You're going to stop hearing about any kind of news on this or what have you.
Yep, if it dies in
So
the water.
if you really want this book, it would probably be best to wait on that. But I see a lot of value in this book, and I see the growth potential going forward being high. That's my take on that right there. All right, Chris, you have another book to talk about. What do you got?
All right, guys, my number 2 pick on the list. Excited about this one. Nova number 1.
Whoa!
That's right. Nova number 1, the first appearance of Nova, a.k.a. Richie Rider. So a Bronze Age book that I have been talking about for over 3 years now. Back when I had a little YouTube channel that I wasn't even doing anything with, all right? Back in the early days when I didn't even take it seriously, I was like, folks, this right here is one of those affordable Bronze Age books that I see having great potential. Now, let's look at what it's been doing when it hit the top 10. 131% upward trend in sales. Last week when it hit the top 10 once again, it had a high CGC 9.8 of $3,000. That's money. This week's high for a 9.8 dropped down to 2,700. All right, that's a 10% decrease in value, but I'm going to say it again. Don't get too caught up on the high sales. You know, there's very minimal on the market at any given time. And I say this all the time. It just takes 1 or 2 people to see that book at that moment, to have that money in their pocket right then. Oh, I just got paid, or I got my taxes back, or whatever the case may be. And they're up there at 2 a.m. on eBay bidding it out. And it just happens to go up a few $100s, right? So don't get too caught up on that. But this is one that I want everyone to look at. The high sale prior to this announcement, $2,600. And that was back in May of last year. Now, that was when the market was peaking for a lot of books. A lot of money was going into a lot of key books, you know, last summer. This book did drop down. It averaged sales under 2,000 leading into, you know, the fall and winter of 2021 and coming into the winter of this year. It was rolling under that $2,000 mark. So now that we got the Nova announcement, it's spiked back up again. But it doesn't concern me that much that it hasn't gone up way past where it was at its high previously. So something to pay attention to. Let's look at the Raws. When it hit the top 10, the average Raw was sitting 145, where this week the average Raw is 170. A little bit of an upward trend of 17%. All right. Props or flops? Similar thing here, folks. I'm giving it props. But, and this may seem to be a trend, Jeff, Andrew, when we started doing this segment like this a few weeks back, anytime I give a book props, I still have to tell you all to be cautious. Just because I give a book props doesn't mean I'm telling you to have the green light to go spend a bunch of money, go buy it in a 9.8 for $3,000. Because as I always say, too, we're not here to tell you to buy anything. You know, I'm just giving you guys my opinion on this. Again, I think this is a long-term investment. Bronze Age key Marvel books are here for the long term. Anything that has MCU spec value added to it is, you know, kind of it's an added, you know, icing on the cake sort of thing, especially if you invested in it prior and you want a short-term flip, maybe, right? So, as we all know, anytime we get announcements like this, it allows these books to become a bit more volatile with more ebb and flow on the market. Once we get a trailer, I bet this book is going to start hitting even higher numbers. When we get a trailer or a casting, when we get
any news,
and then the show is going to come out, and depending on how good it comes, how it's received, it could keep going up. But if it's not well received, or if it comes out and then we don't see Nova again for a while, it might not do this, but, you know, it might cool off. We take our money and our focus elsewhere. Look at what's happening with Iron Man 55. that book really cooled off, and now it's going back up, and that's because it is a early Bronze Age book with some key first appearances that is going to be a solid investment long term. I say the same thing for this. This is a props book all the way, and I really hope that if you all were interested in collecting in Cosmic Marvel, Bronze Age characters, whatever the case may be, I really hope that if you guys have been here collecting for the last few years, that you bought it before the announcement happened a couple weeks back, because you would have saved a lot of money.
Yep.
If you buy it right now, again, personally, I would stay away from the 9.8s. You're taking more risk. You might see it drop down here and there, but I wouldn't be too upset if you think you overpay, because 5-10 years from now, even 15-20 years from now, you'll probably look back and be like, wow, I paid that much for it and was mad about it because now it's worth like 5-6 times the amount.
Agreed. And before, Drew, I get to your comment, I'm enjoying this right now, that we're actually getting people giving their props or flops. So, guys, please give us the props or flops for any of the books that Chris brings up. I'm enjoying that trend, seeing you guys all give your opinion. I'm enjoying another alumnus here, Automatic Comics, just waving hello. Hello! Good to see you. All right, Drew, your thoughts on Nova #1.
I've been, I'm in the same boat with Chris. I've been talking about this thing for a long time, and who I'm really happy for is the person who bought a 9.8 copy on January 8th for $1,650. There'd be nobody happier in the Nova world right now than that guy. Because I pulled up GPA. I'm a data nerd. So, the 2021 average over 56 sales was $1,771. So this guy bought this copy for less than last year's price.
Nice.
Wow.
So congrats to that guy. Now I remember when Nova was $100 book, and then it was $150 book. And now I think it's going to be a $300 book, a $350 book. Just imagine what happens if we get, something as simple as what we got at the end of Eternals with Blade.
Yeah.
We get something for Nova like that at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, just that little hint in a post-credit scene. I mean, just, light the fuse and walk away. It's going to go sky high. But no, I can't really add much to that. I've been a proponent of this book for a long time, and happy to finally see the market coming back to it, because I feel like it's a book a lot of people kind of leaned in on a while ago, but then they kind of got tired of it, or they lost faith in it as it was kind of holding steady, or even slowly kind of drifted down a little bit while everything else was blowing up. And now I think the people who, stayed the course and held on to it, or came into it when it was in that kind of just lull or holding pattern, are going to be happy with what they see in the next few months and years with it.
Agreed. Feige has been saying for years Nova will be coming. Feige has teased it's going to be both Richard Rider and Sam Alexander via comic book on video. So he has the words coming out of his mouth saying this. Here we are right now with the reports that they're starting to move forward with this. And yeah, I'm glad I got my copy. I got it graded too. It's within arm's reach. Okay, sure. You got it. You guys want to see it? Drew, pipe down, please. Okay, I'll show it to you.
It's show and tell.
I know you're so desperate. It's not even fresh from the comic shop at all, but I got it in 8.5. I got it graded, so my copy was an 8.5. I'm happy with that, man.
Last sale was $248.
Yeah, I got it for way back before any of this news made the rounds. So, anyways, I'm all about it. I'm a props on that too, Chris and Drew. So, that being said, I think a lot of people are props for Nova. I gotta say, comic chameleon.
Chameleon.
That is a clever name. Well played. Well played. Also, Drew, you got some props yourself in the comics. Comic Toby 420. Something about Como Comics that makes me want to go and score a touchdown. I think it's in your. Yeah. I think you could totally be an analyst for college football, maybe even the NFL. I really do. You have that voice, that timbre. It's excellent. Don't change. Continue to be you, please.
I'll I'll continue to keep
Moving
it
on,
sexy
Chris.
over here with the deep tones.
You do have the deep tones. Yeah, absolutely. Chris,
That is good. I like that though, Jeff. You're right. You're right.
I'm right about
All
what?
right. About Como, man, and
Well, it was Comic Toby, too, that said that as well.
oh yeah.
Can I
So,
throw
anyways, Chris, your
one more
third
note
pick
about
here. What do you
Nova
got?
before we
Props or
move on?
flops?
Nova? More about Nova?
One more thing.
Yeah.
Look downstream from 1 because issue 2 is already jumping up. There are other books in that title that you need to be looking at beyond number 1 right now because they're still in back issue bins. Everybody's grabbing the 1 and marking it up, but there's still money to be made downstream from issue 1. So that's
100%. There's a lot out there. Justin, aka Saul Marshall, Nova 11 is the first meeting of the Novas. There's also there's a Nova 5. I can't remember which series that was, but where they physically are in the same space. But by the way, Dave collects. Yeah. What's happening, hot stuff?
I just sold this nice, fine looking book for $3. I mean, it's not a key in the series, but yeah, guys, it's a short run with a lot of fun books too.
Definitely. All right, Chris.
Though. That's great stuff.
It is. That's a nice looking book too. Chris, your third pick of the week. Props or flops? What do you got?
My number 1 coming in. New Avengers number 40. This was number 1 on the list. And how to go with it. So let's break this down. There's a lot of here to take in, folks. This is the first appearance of Berenke, the Scroll Queen. Rumor has it that Emilia Clarke will be playing this character in the Secret Invasion show. Now, folks, keep in mind, it is just a rumor. We don't know still who she will be playing. Okay, let's look at what the book has been doing with these numbers here. When it hit the top 10, 154% upward trend in sales with a high with the high CGC 9.8 of $392. This week's high, $385. But keep in mind, folks, that was like late night last Sunday, so it was mere hours after cover price creates the list, and then there was no 9.8 sold for all the rest of this week. Now get this, no graded sales prior to 2021. In all of the sales but one, there was none prior to December of 2021, except there was, I believe, I think it was a 9.2 or a 9.4 that sold in like February or March of 2021. Other than that, though, in every other grade, which was 9.4, 9.6, and 9.8, there's none other in lower grades. The only ones sold happened just over the last 4 months. There's only 29 9.8 on the census. I'm going to come back to that, but let's just review the raw averages first. When it hit the top 10, it was averaging about $39 raw. This week, about $31 raw. That's a 21 decrease in value. But remember, raws are taken with a grain of salt because you have different grades in there, and they're not all the same equal value. But the average raw before the rumor of her playing this character, Emilia Clarke, $16. So you could see that this basically doubled in value and what we were paying for it raw when this rumor happened. Now that's pretty substantial, although, paying $30 to $40 for this book isn't outlandish or crazy or anything like that, right? Now let's go back to the graded 9.8s and this 29 copies on the census. I have said it many times as of late. We can't sit here and focus on census count and look at 29. This thing is rare. I just did a video about it actually yesterday, guys. Not this book, another book, but go check that out on my channel. We can't sit here and say there's only 29 CGC 9.8s on the census. This book is rare, therefore it is worth a ton of money. I'm going to tell you what this census count means. And again, folks, this is just my opinion, but I'm deducing it from, taking all the variables that I have at hand and hypothesizing with that information. Here it is. Here we go. the reason there is only 29 9.8s on the census, the reason why there was none sold before 2021, the reason why there was only one sold even before 4 months ago is because of this. Nobody cared about sending this book in to get graded until we got an announcement. When was, does anybody know at the top of their head when the Secret Invasion announcement was? Was that at the 2019?
That was the same time they announced Moon Knight, the same time they announced Ironheart.
Yeah, they dropped that whole slate all at once.
Yeah, that was 2019, right?
We did it. Yeah, it was 2020 because we were.
Yep,
you're
right.
Early on in comic book canon history.
Doing comic book canon. That's right. There you go. So there you go. The timing adds up perfectly. So when that announcement happened, everyone that wants to flip comic books, speculate and flip comic books, said, okay, let's see what might pertain to a Secret Invasion TV show. And you get anything that might have a first appearance of a character that might show up in the show. You get people that now start sending this book into CGC. And now we're seeing it happen because we got the Emilia Clarke casting. We got the rumors, and now the rumor is making headway. And I'm telling you, that's, again, I can't prove it as fact, but that is my assumption and educated hypothesis of why we saw none of these graded books on the market prior to just a few months ago. So, props or flops for this book. While I don't think that this book is necessarily a horrible investment or a horrible book to buy, look, hey, even for $30-something, I mean, like I said, that's not a crazy amount of money where, you know, you're going to be mad if it drops off. But, and it could have potential in the future to slowly increase. It is a modern book. I'm sure there's a lot of high grades out there, and this is my problem with this book. And this goes back to the census. Do you know how many people might have been having a copy or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of this book sitting? How many dealers, how many flippers? And now that this rumor is coming true, how many people are now sending this off to CGC? Doing the 9.8, paying the $5 for the pre-screen. Sending all their 9.8 potential copies so they can try to flip it and make money off this book. This book has the potential to, whenever, I don't know what CGC's turnaround times are looking like these days. I don't know, 3 months with the fast track, 6 to 10 months, submitting them with standard, the standard tier. In a few months from now, when all the people that are submitting these to flip, they come back, that 29 on the census might double. We might have 60 on the census. It might triple to 90 on the census. And then, as I've said before in different scenarios, at that point, it might come to fruition that Emilia Clarke is not playing Berenke and is a different character. And this character isn't even in the show or whatever the case may be. And it might be her. She might come in and play this character. I don't know. It could keep the book holding. But because of all the uncertainty, because I know people are looking at this book and they're looking at the census count and they're skewing it and they're looking at it in a way that doesn't tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, I have to give this book flops. I just, there's too much technicalities involved to where this book, it's not enough for me to get behind this book and say, especially in those 9.8 values. No way $300, $400 for this book in a 9.8. It's just absolutely nuts. So flops for me.
I have comments with Drew. You're our guest and you're smarter than I am. Please.
Well, I bought a couple books yesterday just for the business. And That was one of them.
Nice.
Oh wow.
But here's the deal. I've been buying this book out of like $1 and $3 and $5 bins for years. So I've got a couple of them. The other book that kind of goes hand in hand with this one that I like that is not really on anybody's radar, or at least nobody's talking about it, I don't think right now, is Secret Wars 3, where she reveals herself. I think that's a great book as well. But this one, the dealer is a smart dealer. They already were kind of on the trend, so they actually had it marked 20. So I wound up probably paying more than, it's definitely the most expensive one I've got. But when I made a deal for $50 for the pair of books I'm holding, I think you'll see why I didn't care, because that's the other book I got with it for that $50. So I still kind of like this book. I think it's one of those measured spec books. Again, if maximum return on investment is your thing, you've already been buying this book, like I have for the last few years. If you want to jump in at this point and you want to spend a couple $100 and really make a heavy play on this book, don't go for the first print like this one. There's a second print that's a wraparound cover that has Ferengi on it. That's the money book for this issue. So it's come up a time or two, and it actually has more volume sales wise, just looking at GPA here, than the first print does, with 10 sales in the last 12 months compared to 8 for the first print, and running right around $450 for it. So that would be my recommendation if you wanted to throw money in at it. But I think there's probably better investments to be made overall. Now, if you can find it in a discount bin still, I think it's worth picking up. If you can turn $1, $3, or $5 into $20 or $30 like that in the next few months.
Sure. That's the way to do it. And I'm a little conflicted here, because and I know this isn't the game we play, but if I were to compare this book to the two other books, no question, it's a flop, right?
Oh yeah.
However, but that's not what we do here. We have to look at each one separately. And the thought process that I have, well, I can't justify buying this for the numbers that were up on that slate. Exactly what you said, Drew, digging through the boxes, trying to find it for anywhere $3 to $10, what have you, sure. Mm-hmm. But Emilia Clarke has staying power. It is a rumor. It's not, it hasn't been confirmed. So I got to give flops, because I wouldn't pay those prices to purchase this book. I would definitely try and get this book if I could at $10 and under is basically what I'd have to say.
Yeah,
that's
yeah. And again, I want to make it clear that this isn't a bad book. It's a very fun and interesting book that can play out very well in the MCU. But my big concern too, and like you said, Jeff, with the value that it's going for. We have to, I always say, don't get caught up on print run. Well, a lot of even Bronze Age books had higher print runs than modern books. So, but when you talk about 9.8s and those higher grades, and how modern books have more potential to have more of a mass, more higher grades, have more potential for 9.8s. You're talking about, and here's another thing though. You don't know what the MCU is going to do with this character.
Yeah. If
they're going to really villainize her, or if because you already saw how they changed the dynamic with the scrolls. So, that can be a different thing too. When you talk about the staying power, I agree. But what is that staying power going to look like? And I'm very concerned with, especially with graded books, with the fact that let's come back and talk about this book a year from now and see how many are on the census, and if demand is going to keep up to how many potentially are going to be there in the next coming months in years. And even if the character plays out well and the raw books keep a solid value, it's like so many more 9.8s can flood the market that the price never goes anywhere, simply because the demand just doesn't increase as much as the supply. And you never know. Too many question marks for me.
Yeah, I think in the short term, the supply will outrun the demand for sure, because we're still a ways out from that.
Yeah.
And even with the delays, I mean, if I've got a couple of copies of this, there's somebody out there who's got 10 or 15 or 20. And I made a comment in the chat earlier, there's probably 10 times the current census count on its way to Dallas right now, or already sitting there. So it's definitely one of those that I think I wouldn't be putting money in the slabbed one right now for sure.
100%. Great advice right there. I think, again, with context, though, if you feel it's worth it to you, don't listen to any of us. If you feel like you're going to spend that money and it's something you want, it's right for you then. If it's coming to Chris, Drew, or myself, we wouldn't do that. But that's our opinion. And again, we really want to kind of reinforce that. We're not here to tell you what to do with your money. People ask us what we would do with ours. That's what we say. Anyways, that's props or flops, guys. You guys did a fantastic job participating. Starting to enjoy this segment even more now with you guys telling us props or flops. We'll have a brand new list next week. Chris will dissect it with the 3 most interesting books from that list, as well as props or flops. All right, here we go. We are going to move on to the next segment. This is where your responsibilities come in, Drew. Okay. You've been kind of on our coattails right now, but now you're still riding our coattails.
Thanks for noticing.
No big deal. No big deal. You're a vital cog, an important piece to this show, because right now, Chris, we do a segment. What is it called?
Fresh from the comic shop.
Fly from the pressing salon. That's why, right? Each and every week, we ask for you to submit your fresh gets. They can be 2 days old. They can be 30 years old. As long as they're fresh in your collection, we want to see them. Send them through Instagram. Tag us at Comic Book Canon. Use the hashtag. This is the most important piece. FFTCS, and we will show them in the show. And not only that, you'll be able to win actual prizes. That's right. Each month we give away an EGS slab. And guys, March. What a month, guys. We had some amazing submissions, but it came down to 2 people. 2 people, guys, for this slab right here. This Batman 93 9.8 slab. Look at how gorgeous the art, the colors, all that good stuff is done there. But the winner has to follow EGS on Instagram, subscribe to EGS on YouTube, and they obviously have to submit their fresh get. And it's interesting, guys, because we do have a winner, and it's even more interesting. He is our guest tonight, giving away a wonderful 1K sub. But let's just show you real quick. That's right. It is Saw Marshall 007, a.k.a. Justin Over, neighbor to the north, and his coyote. It was a close one, but, I mean, my goodness gracious, that thing is hot. So we're going to bring in Justin real quick before we kick him off again. Justin, congratulations, man. This is first. Having a winner. This was not planned because we had you coming on this week to give away a 1K slab, which you're very generous of you, and we can't appreciate it enough. But you ended up winning the month of March.
Well, actually, because of the Neighbor to the North competition he put forth and something he and I talked about in the comments of IG, he said it's all about growing community. So since he was second place with this, and I love just the show itself, I'm going to send him a copy of Entertainment Weekly's cover. This is their last print issue. So Neighbor to the North, I don't know if you're in the chat, but hit me up and I will send this your way.
That is excellent, man. Jesus, that warms the heart right there. That is super sweet. That is awesome that you're doing that, Justin. I really want to be mean to you, but I can't right now because you're too damn nice. By the way, we do have Tony Trombetta in the chat, a.k.a. Mr. EGS himself. We can't thank you enough for being part of this segment, sponsoring this segment, because we're going to give you a little sneak peek at the April book. But before we do, Chris, give the nitty gritty on EGS, especially this.
Yeah, guys, if you are, you never used EGS before, you're curious about EGS, maybe you have used EGS before for your grading services, go check their website out, egscomicsgrading.com. That link is below. If you make an order, you will save 5% off of that order if you use our code CANON5. 5. So take advantage, guys. They do offer amazing custom labels. And just so everyone knows, I always like to, add this context. They have standard labels, guys. They have standard labels, but oftentimes we just see the custom ones because those are so sought after. But very great company with awesome transparency. That's the one thing that I like to talk about a lot. Grader notes with every book, no matter the grade, even if it's a 9.8. And you could do wonders with those custom labels. You can even, work with them and put your own input on what you would like to see in a custom label for one of your books. So check them out. Check out their website. If you put an order in, use that code, save some money.
I got to give a shout out to Tony too, because without Tony's help, those 2 slabs for your channels wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah, we really we can't thank Tony enough. He's doing an incredible job too, and there are more good things to come that we are not privy to announce. But super excited for all that EGS has to offer and will offer coming down the line. All right, here we go. Who's curious about my voice? Just cracked. I'm so excited. Who's curious what the April book is? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Boom! Woo! Look at that! Giant size Black Cat #1 variant. 9.8 EGS, and look at, guys, I don't know if you can see, on the top right there, that is the Infinity Gauntlet in the middle of the slab right there up top.
Beautiful.
Very fun, very creative, and matches. I like how it matches that cover perfectly. So that is a hot book. You guys should get on that. But we're just going to get right into it. Justin, we're going to
remind them what they need to do, because it says right there, guys, if you're entering.
Links are below.
Yeah, if you're entering fresh from the comic shop, you can't have a chance to win this book unless you do those things. You got to follow EGS on IG at EGS Comics. Go do that, like right now. I see you. Go do it. You got to subscribe to EGS on their YouTube. All you need to do, I think that link is below as well, Jeff, but if it
is. All the links are below.
That link's below. Go do it. I'm watching. And then you can submit your fresh gets like you normally do on the IG.
You're damn straight. We're just going to get into it right now on the egg. Justin, you're coming back at the end of the show to give away another slab. We're going slab crazy here. All right, we'll see you in a bit. All right, let's just get into it. Fresh from the comic shop, that is right. Fly from the pressing salon, FFTCS. Let's do it. Who's ready for Nerds Being Geeks? Another former guest co-host who got kicked off quite a bit. That is right. Nerds Being Geeks. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #4, written and drawn by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. As a massive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, I was thrilled to find this at a local comic and toy show at an incredible price for a first printing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe issue 4 was the last issue they released in magazine size format. Guys, again, look at how well composed that shot is. He's got the white turtles matching the white turtles on the book. That is an excellent shot. Well done, Nerds Being Geeks. We forgot to do something. The criteria. Goodness gracious, we are awful hosts here.
But so let's get into it. I think you did. You're just being modest because you did it on purpose, because we wanted to show Nerds Being Geeks entry because it's a prime example of showing off what some of this criteria is that we look for.
I mean, in my opinion, this has all 3. It's got presentation, a gorgeous shot. We're looking for presentation, well-composed shot. Yep. A unique book. That's not an easy book to get right there. And a story. He was telling us how he was a massive Turtles fan. And to be able to find this, it just was incredible for him to get this. So it's very rare we see all 3 of those in there. But well done, Nerds Being Geeks. All right, moving on. We got Marvel Man 616 Comics. What do you got? That's right. Moon Knight 38, the final issue of Volume 1 of the series. Guys, looking for these last issues, especially in the 80s. Very low print run on these. So that's a good book to have as well, especially with, that being a black cover, hard to find in a decent copy. That looks like a very, very, very nice copy. Drew, your thoughts on that real quick?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tough issue to find, and that one looks pretty sharp. Like you said, that black cover's bad, especially so many of those issues just lived a good chunk of their life in dollar bins and just they weren't well taken care of. So
yep,
they're tough to find.
Yep, indeed. So
I'm envious.
What's that?
I'm envious. That's a nice book.
You don't have that book? I feel like you have every book ever produced.
The 80s is a little more common, or a little more modern for me. I'm focused mostly on the older stuff.
Okay,
at this
all right.
point.
That's fair. By the way, we're approaching your first fresh get. Can't wait to see that. But before we do, let's get into Captain Steve Rogers 4. My awesome local comic shop got in some books from a collection, and within it was this gem. I present Foom, issue number 8 from 1975. A perfect Steve Rogers Saturday for his buddies, Marvel 7080 and Union Josh Comics. I'd never seen an issue of Foom in person until yesterday, and now I own 3. 2 more to show later. That looks like Kirby. I could be wrong, but it looks gorgeous. Ramita. Oh, it's Ramita. Mm-hmm. That is a great looking cover. Absolutely. All right, we got C to the G. Look at that. I love what he did here, guys. Throw it back one time when we were kids, ripping packs of boxes of these with our saved up allowances. Pure nostalgic vibes. Keep these covers coming. Dwarman and Lucas Wernick. I don't know if you can see, but he's got the cards sprinkled around there as well. I think that's so well done. Very, very, very well done. All right, Drew, what do you got? You're going to put us all to shame, I'm sure. First fresh of the week.
My first one's a twofer, but this is probably the first time this series has ever been on the show, because it's one of those things you never really collect until you're running out of runway. Like you're getting pretty desperate when you start collecting Not Brand Ek. So this is issues 10 and 12. Picked them up yesterday at the show I was at to finish my Not Brand Ek run. So I now have all 13, I believe it is, issues of Not Brand Ek. So
dude,
there you go.
You 100% are right. We've never had that on the show, and I congratulate you on that.
Yay.
You're 2 issues away from completing the collection?
No, that was the last 2 I needed. That was it.
Outstanding. Super happy. And by the way, he sent us a shot blaming us that he spent over $100 to show off books for Fresh from the Comic Shop exclusively. I'm like, dude, no. We did not make you do anything. Don't put that blame on us. Maybe you want to be a little pressure. What's that?
I gave into the peer pressure.
Yeah. But your wife is probably pressuring you, and you're blaming us. You know what? We'll take the heat. She's thousands of miles away. No big deal.
That's right.
No big deal. We can do that for you. All right. Moving on. Who do we got? We got Comic Kong. Some first for Jason Todd, mostly known for being the Red Hood in Batman 635, but was also the Arkham Knight from the video game. Red Hood is one of my favorite Batman antagonists. That's fun, too. The way they brought him back. You never thought Jason Todd would come back up until, mid-2000s or so? So that's a good get. Some good gets right there. No doubt about that. Into Oblivion's up next. What does he got? Oh, you know what? I really like this cover, guys, and I like the synopsis around this. Wolverine patch number 1, 5-issue limited series from writer Larry Hama that takes place prior to Wolverine 31 in 1990. First appearance of Krasny Beth. First appearance of Gimmel. I like what they're doing here. I liked this run back in the day. I like the patch kind of. It's not an alter ego. I guess it is an alter ego, but I love this cover as well. They're doing a second print on this cover. It's the same thing, but they're going back to the blue. You know how they do the blue? I haven't seen them do that for quite a while, so that'll be interesting. All right, Chris, your first fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right, this is so cool to me. Talk about nostalgia, and just it's unique and nostalgic. So this is one of the Whitman, 3-packs, and it is the Black Hole Comics. Who remembers?
Oh my God, that movie
from the 80s, the Black Hole.
Yes, there were toys too.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite movies of all time. I want to open the bag just to show you guys the books, but I can't. I'm keeping this closed.
No, dude, don't do that.
I know it is sealed. You can see there's some of the cast right there from the film. This came in the last collection that I picked up. Really freaking awesome to find this in there. Yeah, you can see right at the top it says the Whitman, and then it says Walt Disney Productions Black Hole.
Awesome. Dude, that movie, man, that is taking me back. Holy cow. I love that, Chris. Yeah. That right there would be unique, definitely. And I would have to say, I would have to lean into Drew, be like, yo, you got to consider that one. Good stuff, man. Absolutely. All right, moving on. Who do we got? We got Son of Comics. Y'all know him, the Red Hulk. I'm impressed with this for one reason. Hulk 3, David Nakayama variant. Donny Cates is killing on Hulk, and Mr. Nakayama is killing another cover. Cameo of Titan Hulk. My God, this issue 4 just came out. Maybe 5. He got this back quick from CGC. I don't know how he did that so quickly, but congratulations on that, Son of Comics. That's good work. Good work indeed. I do like that cover, too. I have that myself. We got Raw Dog Comics. He's in the house, too, I do believe. This is House of Mystery 177, the Neil Adams cover, DC Horror 1968. This is the freshest House of Mystery in the collection. Neil Adams is one of my favorite artists of all time. Covers like this are why we collect in the first place. I'll definitely be posting more classic horror goodness in the future. Have a great week coming up, and everyone stay safe. Collect what you love. That's Raw Dog sign off all the time. Love it, love it, love it. Moving on. Highly recommend picking up this book right here. If you see it, they're out there because Comic Noob, he visited his honey hole and grabbed this from the dollar bin. This would be a nice pickup right here, everybody. Highly recommend it. It's his first series, Sam Alexander's first series, and I think they're still available, but not for much longer. All right, guys, I'm going to take a turn. Is that okay with you two? Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. This was awesome, actually. It's a new book. It just came out this week, but I was very happy to get it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 127, the B cover, the Eastman cover. First cover appearance of Venus. I think I love this. I love look his it's just Eastman, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the end of the book is just like wow. It's awesome. I'm excited for this character to see more.
I'm still waiting on my copy.
I'm glad you got the B.
Yeah. I always get the B covers because of Eastman, but
this B cover kills it. It kills it.
Yeah, the colorist on that issue nailed it with that orange background. It just sets everything else off.
I mean, yeah, look at that, man. Absolutely. So good. So good. So I was very happy to get that. All right, moving on. We got some more great stuff for you. Drew, I really hope you're paying attention because you have a job to do.
Yeah.
All right, we got Nori Jordan. Look at this. I decided to keep it simple this week and pay tribute to my favorite character, Bullseye. I decided to push off my Thunderbolts books until next week and change things up. I had a laugh when I realized Fate still wanted Thunderbolts involved. I was going through a quarter bin at a shop and found 2 copies of Old Man Hawkeye, number 9, with an amazing Bullseye cover. By the way, he loves Bullseye. As I looked at the description of the series, I realized it was about Hawkeye hunting down the members of, you guessed it, the Thunderbolts. I guess I have a new series to collect. 50 cents well spent. This is a very good series too, by the way. I read this. I thoroughly enjoyed this. So good pickup there, Nori Jordan. Arana Escarlata. He loves Ben Reilly, and I haven't read the recent issue. There are a lot of people that are upset, but here we go. Okay. Rip Ben Reilly. It would have been better if he'd have stayed dead in Peter Parker's Spider-Man number 75. If this was his fate by the powers that be. From an established hero to Venom Kane 2.0 reject, thanks for the character assassination, Wells, Lowe, and Marvel. So
did he just spoil it?
Not real. Well, the top right is kind of a indication of what happens.
Yeah, I'm on issue 82 still, but I mean, if I was invested, I'd be kind of upset right now, but I really can care less about what
that's how most people feel. They're starting
I just buy it and put it in a box.
That's so bad, but that's what a lot of people do. But we'll see what happens because they're rebooting again. I hate this shit. Why can't they just keep numbering? Why? Drew, is it really that valuable to make that first issue go boom, and then what happens after that?
When you can't produce a quality product routinely, you need something to draw new people in. And number ones are good ways to do that. I'd rather see them just go back to where they declare what the arc is and put part 1 on the cover. Like,
sure,
start this new story here and the editor's notes that fill in the blanks. But it's just, I don't know.
It really... We're old school, the three of us, in terms of like how we read comic books, and I don't know, maybe people enjoy this. If any of you in the chat enjoy this, let us know if you enjoy these consistent reboots. Please let us know, because it pisses me off. Let's get up to over 100 or something like that at least. Or granted, 83 is not bad these days, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We'll see. We'll see.
The 0.1s and 0.2s and 0.3s, that pisses me off even more.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, point beyonds were freaking garbage.
Yes, God.
Or at least legacy number, everything help out the collectors. I mean, they do that with some, but it's still like, ugh.
Yeah, if they were consistent with that, that would help a lot.
They're not. It's really upsetting. Awful. It's really upsetting. All right, but you know what? We have happier things to show off and talk about, because Mark Lineker, who's ready for a history lesson?
Let's do it.
Mark Lineker. Famous Funnies, 68 March 1940, the first comic book series debuting in 1934. This issue could have shared shelf space with Action Comics 22, Marvel Mystery Comics 5, and Detective Comics 37. It's notable for being part of the run from issue 62 to 80 that had early Jack Kirby work on Lightning and the Lone Rider. He worked under the name Lance Kirby and drew the comic strip for the newspaper syndication in 1939. The masked Western hero eventually got his own book from 1951 to 1955. Mark, you never disappoint. Drew, you don't disappoint either. What do you got for your second Fresh Get of the week?
Next up, I checked another box off yesterday. I got my last 12-cent Hulk that I needed. So this is 109, great Kazar cover. If you've spent any time on my channel, I've had a number of conversations with other content creators about just Kazar and how much we think he could be something at some point. So
it's definitely another unique corner of the MCU to look out for, right? If they were to
Savage Land and all that. So, and they're still really affordable. I think I gave $10 for this book.
Yeah, get out of here, man. That's awesome. You know what I love about that book too is the logo at the top left corner, the Hulk logo. Oh, so good. Anyways,
I think that might be Severin still, like on the corner. Well, yeah,
Barry Severin. Yeah, it's so dope.
It's Trimpy and Severin cover too. So.
Love it, love it, love it. Good stuff, Drew. All right, moving on. We got a little taken aback by your pickup. What do we got? We got. Oh, Nukes Comics. We got Nukes Comics. Where are you, Nukes Comics? Guys, I'm messing up left and right. You should kick me off. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. My bad, guys. Right under Mark. Nukes Comics. We have. I picked up Defenders 3 from Boomerang Comics. It features an amazing cover by Javier Rodriguez. I'm loving these covers, too, from these Defenders books. I think Dan De La Torre is reading this run. Let us know what you think, sir. I think you do like it. Next up, we have Comic Demon. That's right, Comic Demon. And so the comic gods rained down on this Comic Demon this week with my fresh from the comic shop grabs. Looking forward to reading a bunch of new stories plus some awesome art covers. He always sends over a whole bunch of picks, but this one you couldn't. This one was the best by far. Good stuff there, Comic Demon. Saw Marshall is not eligible to win, guys. Okay, let's keep this in mind. But holy shit. It's up there, guys. Oh my god, all right, I'm just gonna show it. I'm just gonna show it because goodness gracious. Okay. Multiverse of Madness may call him Shumagorath or Gargantos or even Giant Calamari. Whatever they decide to call this time-traveling squid demon, he is no match for Dread Deadly. You hear that, Chris? Dread Deadly. Just kidding, Journals Comics. I'm super stoked to add this beautiful Steve Englehart signed slab to the PC. Another Doctor Strange key checked off the list. There's a lot going on here, guys. Shumagorath on the comic. You got the calamari going on. By the way, it looks like he grilled that very well. We'll get him back on. He'll explain exactly what's going on. But you did it again, Justin. You did it again. Congratulations. All right. Chris, your second fresh get of the week.
All right. I got it. I had to do it. Coming off the Moon Knight show. Had to do it. The Moon Knight number 2.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Is that Sienkiewicz?
Number 2. Yep. Look at that. Yep.
I like it.
Nice looking book.
Excellent pickup. Excellent pickup. All right. We are moving fast and furious through this because we have only 3 more left, and we have to show our third. Here we go. All right, we'll figure this out. We got Bobzilla. He did it again. I mean, did you think I was going to get this Marvel Legends symbiote Spider-Man and not do the pose? Double whammy for symbiote Spider-Man Secret Wars #8, the origin of the black costume. In my honest opinion, I do believe that Thor and Hulk were playing a little prank on our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and are completely responsible for Venom. But that is just my opinion, of course. One of the most iconic comic book covers of all time. Yes, jazz hands and all. So nice, I got it twice. And one of my top 2 favorite versions of Spidey for me is this Real King in Black. Happy collecting, kiddos. Good stuff, Bobzilla. Good stuff indeed. All right, my second fresh get of the week. We gotta get it moving here. Oh, you're Chris. I'm me. Guys, so I was at work in Boston last week, and I like driving back down to hit up some comic book shops. I stopped by a shop, and shit, I gotta call out that shop. I don't know where his card went. Outside of Boston, walked in there. He had his new issues on the shelf, a really small area for new issues, and the rest was all back issues. He told no DC. He said, I was like, why is there no DC? He's like, I'm not selling DC anymore, and in a couple months, I'm not selling any new issues anymore. I was like, wow, I have never heard of this model before. He's like, yep. But underneath the new issues, presented as if they were new issues, was a whole bunch of 90s stuff. It was like, blew me away. So I picked this one up right here. This is Bishop #1, the foil cover.
Yeah.
For cover.
Nice.
It was so cool. The way he had stacks upon stacks. He said he just obtained 15,000 books. And yeah, he's selling these for cover. There are so many. It was incredible. So he had books with holograms on them. And, we know that they were probably produced close to 1 million in terms of print run. But shit, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to get this. So I did. And that's my story.
I don't even think I have that.
Yeah, I mean, it's his first series, so maybe one day it'll make some money. I don't, who knows? But or be, increase in value. Not really planning on selling it. Just the fact that he had it there, and he had the books that just smelled good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It had the paper, guys. It had the paper. All right. Next up, we got good old Watlock himself, Matt Stadge, and shit. Woo! Yep, look at that. I forgot to copy and paste what he said here, so give me a hot second, but just admire it. Chris, give me some color analyst shit right now while I look up Matt Stadge and what he said.
I'm just I'm just having a conniption right here because that's just freaking beautiful. The holiest grail of grail wrens. Look at all that.
And this is what he said. Had a great time at the Ancaster show today. Came home with 13 early Spidey books to help fill the run. Good deals, not great though. Dealers selling those early Amazing Spider-Man books are tough to deal with. I mean, sure, you're one of those people too. Is there a reason why you would be tough to deal with?
I tell you guys, I realize this seems kind of counterintuitive based off the video I just posted, but you just can't find that shit anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, replacing it is so much harder. And I just feel like try and walk into a shop and find Spider-Man under 100.
Yeah.
80% of them are going to have less than 5 issues if they have any. It's so tough. The demand is super high, and the well is running dry.
Yep.
On that stuff. And it's just, and there's some changing even in the marketplace, like at a dealer level where, in the past we were fairly open to haggling, but when it's coming to Silver Age, it's almost getting to be more like Golden Age, like key Golden Age has been, where the price is the price, unless, you're talking cash money and a pretty good size pile of books. And even then, don't expect a lot.
That's good insight, man. Like, seriously, we don't get to hear that often. We don't have many dealers on the show like you in terms of what you do. But that's very good insight on hearing that, especially the fact it's starting to get to the point where it's like, we're not going to negotiate this. This stuff is hard to find, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So, very fascinating right there. Good stuff there, Matt Stadge. Very happy for your 13-book pickup right there because you are trying to fill that run. All right, Chris, Or no, actually, Drew, your last fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right. This is the last book. They all came out of the same collection. It was a consignment this dealer had at the show. But it's just another late Silver Age that I needed, and it's Thor 168. And the thing I like about these, I don't know how well it came over, but they all have arrival dates store stamped on them. So this guy hit the store on July 9th. I'm assuming that was probably 69.
69.
But yeah, just a great Galactus cover. And this was actually the most expensive book I bought yesterday. And I still got a pretty good deal on it. So.
And are you still blaming us?
Well, yeah, I mean, I cannot be held at fault here.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. Chris, let's go with you and your last get of the week.
All right. Here's some goodness that I put in the collection. And I think this is a really cool book to have. This run has been getting more and more expensive for a couple of reasons. And this book right here, it's issue 50, so a nice, collector's issue 50, but it has the character of the run itself and a guest character, both big players that I think are going to show up in the MCU, and that's Tomb of Dracula number 50.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a Silver Surfer appearance. So this crossover, man, awesome. I do think that we're going to get the Marvel Dracula in the MCU, and I do think Silver Surfer, it's just a matter of time before we get Silver Surfer done right in the MCU. And I've been trying to get every Silver and Bronze Age book that Silver Surfer is in. Every one.
That's an order there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I support you in that. No doubt about that.
I'm doing pretty good. I got all of the Fantastic Four ones, and those are like the hardest ones.
Yep, for sure.
Wow. That's incredible. All right. Our last submission of the week. He may be last, but that does not mean he's not the best, because his name is Dan De La Torre.
Oh,
and look what he's got. Here's my fresh from the comic shop, still on a serious budget. I was able to find this little gem, Defenders number 49, in honor of the Moon Knight show, which is off to a great start. I'd always loved this red background color and a cool early Moon Knight appearance. I had no idea that this book even existed. So, Dan, look at Hulk has Hellcat in his hand. Just looking like he's about to throw her on Valkyrie. Wow, I like it. Good stuff, Mr. De La Torre. Good stuff indeed. All right, Christopher. Drew.
Yes, sir.
You have a job to do, but before you do it, I'm going to show my last fresh get of the week.
Let's do it.
Maybe start doing some sort of, I don't know, your algorithms or however you want to figure this out.
There's numbers flying by. You just can't see them.
Throw a dart against the wall and, whatever you hit. How about that? But before you do that, I'm going to share my last fresh get of the week. Guys, again, it's falling under the same theme. This I bought as a bundle, as a 4-pack. And props to Newbie Comics, who talked about this on a show, I think last week or the week before. But this is really, really nice looking. This is his first series as well from the X-Men gang. This is Gambit number 1.
Yes.
Foil.
Mm-hmm.
I got the set of 4 for $10.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's in excellent condition. I mean,
that cardstock cover is pretty unforgiving.
Yep.
Yep, it looks great. Solid. It looks really nice. I don't see any spine ticks or anything, and it's got the paper too, Drew. It's got
nice.
Best part about it. All right, enough about me. Let's talk about Drew.
All right.
What do we got?
Are we ready?
We are ready. So if you want to list off maybe 3 that impressed you, or however you want to do it.
Well, I mean, everybody knows I'm a Spider-Man fan, so the row of Silver Age goodness, stretching all the way back to Ditko, that spoke to me. That one was great, but I had my mind made up pretty early. Like the bar was set high straight out of the gate. I got to go with the Turtles 4. And the thing that sold it for me is that NECA Mirage Shredder. If I'm remembering right, that was only available in the first Turtle box that came out, and I really wanted one, and I never got one. But I've got a buddy who's a huge Turtles fan, and he had one, and he made me feel inferior for not having one. So, just the staging, even the brick background. No, that's the composition, I think, sets that one apart. It's great. Never mind the fact, it is the last large size issue, and it's just a great cover, and the second print is beautiful as well.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with this pick here because it's very rare where we see the 3 criteria all in one shot, and Nerds Being Geeks did it. So congratulations, Nerds Being Geeks. You are moving on to the semifinals. You'll go up against next week's winner as well. This was a great fresh from the comic shop, and I hope people gain some knowledge. That's what happens when Drew comes on the show. You learn, okay? You got to thank us for bringing Drew on because it really does. We are responsible for that, obviously. But that is fresh from the comic shop. We'll have another great one next week. Again, guys, follow EGS on Instagram. Follow EGS on the YouTubes. All the links are down below. And it's going to be another great fresh from the comic shop because we're going to be giving away for the month of April right here. Oh, look at that Black Cat. Giant size Black Cat #1 variant. Gorgeous. All right, here we are. All right, moving on. Before we bring in, we're just going to be giving away another slab, our good friend Justin. Before we do that, how many followers do we have on Como Comic Books, Chris or Drew?
Let's look her up here.
We requested at least 5 people.
We are up to 2. I mean, that doesn't mean, I haven't run a couple people off. So we may have gotten 5.
Chris, can you check too?
People off and they're leaving.
Well, I can't see the exact number. I just see the 7.77.
Oh. Guys, y'all better. We need 3 more people following Como Comic Books, or this is the last Comic Book Canon episode of ever. So
lucky 7s all the way across the board.
The link is down below. Make it happen. We need 3 more people, or this is the last Comic Book Canon ever. So, here we go. All right, sorry. Justin returns. Hey, how are you, buddy? How was that calamari? Tell us how you cooked it.
It was just out of the can.
Oh, shut up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's what was in the picture, just a peel back can.
It literally looked like it was like grilled or something. Oh, my God. It looked like it was charred. Charred calamari is excellent.
It is, but the canned stuff, not so much.
I've never had it from the can. You shouldn't have said something. You should have said, yeah, I'm an aspiring chef.
I assumed that was like some sardines or something.
Yeah. Really upsetting. All right. It looks like people are subscribing again. Como Comics down below. Justin, you have something that you want to kind of promote. What do you got? Oh, on the Instagram. What? And on the eBay. Why don't you have the same names?
Well, I started my eBay seller account, several years ago. I think it was 2014, and didn't really do anything with it until this last year. So I've been selling comics on eBay the past year, and I'm going to try to start a whatnot sell in the next couple of months or so. I'll be sure to post that on IG, and just hit me up. I've got some good stuff, and I'll have some more good stuff to sell on whatnot too.
For shoresies. That is excellent. But right now, you're going to be giving away a book. Oh, one more time. Do it again. There you go. All right.
Jeff, I have some breaking news here.
Go ahead.
People will be happy to know that Comic Book Canon will continue on because we have got our 5 subs. So the people demanded that Comic Book Canon return after this week. So
we wanted to thank you, the audience, for making that happen. But also, we joke, but it's also important to follow people that produce amazing content. And Drew, you do that on a regular basis. All right, here we go. Justin, you're going to be giving away what, Chris? This right here.
Thanks to Justin, this beauty right here. Look, with the EGS graded Spider-Man #1 9.2 custom Comic Book Canon.
There's the Comic Book Canon logo on there. What? That's crazy. Super excited. All right, so Justin, this is good. Guys, I really think this is going to be a tough one. So the way we're going to do this, everybody, we talk about this every week. We have rules, right? Justin is going to ask a question, and nobody can say the answer to that question until you see a line similar to this one. This is not the line that we're talking about, right? We're going to do the next line, which I'm going to type in here. So once Justin asks that question, I'm going to pop the line in the chat. Get away to answering. However, guys, this is a really tough one. That's all I'm saying. Justin, are you ready to ask the question?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Audience, are you ready to answer the question? They're saying yes at some point.
Okay.
Here we go. Justin, ask the question.
Little backstory. My wife and I have been watching the Spider-Man cartoons every evening for the past couple months now, and that includes the old 1981 Spider-Man cartoon series. I want to know, what is the name of the one-off Spider-Man villain who was a janitor that stole a shrink ray in that episode called The Incredible Shrinking Spider-Man? I'll accept his villain name or his actual name.
Boom. Just pop that into the chat, the line. Guys, get to Googling because there's no way in hell somebody knows that answer right off the top of their head. No way. Do you have a clue, Justin? I think you have an image to show. That costume is stellar, guys, right? I mean,
kind of got like an asbestos man vibe going on.
He's got like he's got like a skullet too. Is he bald on top? But it's like party
orange mullet.
Yeah,
that's really bad. All right, so Jacob says the Gadgeteer.
Yes,
Jacob got it.
That's it.
The Gadgeteer. Jacob wins again.
He is the best Googler amongst us.
He really is. Oh my God.
Man, he is. Man, everybody's on it.
I think we're gonna have to. I think we talked about this last show too.
We did say that. We did say that last show.
Yeah, and Jacob, I'm sure he understands. Jacob's won 2 weeks in a row, so we have to, similar to like what we do with comic book with the Fresh from the Comic Shop. Once somebody wins, they aren't eligible to continue to winning. We want to spread the love. So Jacob, you're a madman. We appreciate your just getting on these and hitting us with these correct answers. You have 2 slabs coming your way if you haven't received them yet, but we're gonna give the opportunity to somebody else here, and just to be fair.
And it looks like, is it Dr. Norton the correct answer, Justin?
No.
Then it's C to the G with the Gadgeteer. Congratulations, C to the G. You are our winner for that 1K slab. Excellent stuff, guys.
He came quick too. That was like literally, at least on my screen.
I am shocked.
A split moment after.
I literally thought this was going to be at least 5 minutes, guys. But
I had a backup question in place just in case.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I'm so surprised at how quick everybody came.
Yeah.
Great job, everybody.
Wow.
What a great show tonight, Drew, man. We are so happy to have you on. You again, if you guys are not following, he could use, he's got a lot of followers, let's put it that way, but you guys should be following him. Again, he gives you the best advice in terms of like what your budget can allot, what you should be looking for. I really appreciate that in you, those segments. You have other videos as well. Links are down below. I'm pretty sure we gave props to your, not props, but the wrong word. Well, we shouted out your Instagram handle. Follow him there too. He will be on a ton of shows. He's going to be promoting those on his Instagram, on his YouTube. So please follow. Justin, man, we cannot thank you enough. That is going out. Neighbor to the north
needs to hit me up.
Yeah, we'll make sure that happens. No doubt about that.
Yep.
And guys, thank you to the audience. We appreciate it. Chris and I will be taking off the 5th Sunday of every month. Not every Sunday has 5 Sundays, but not every month has 5 Sundays.
Right. Yep. If there's a month that has a 5th Sunday, we take that one off. So I think we're going to run into that this month in April.
But it was nice. It was nice to be able to take that break, even though we missed you. We missed you very much. So, but until then, we will be back again next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Guys, anybody else? Last thoughts, comments, concerns? You want to talk?
Now, I just want to say, Drew, thank you for coming on. I know it was last minute getting here too. Appreciate it. Justin, for all that you've done and that you do, for being part of this community. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for
being a part of this. And again, for donating this beautiful slab. Thanks again to Tony and EGS.
Yep.
For making this happen. So, and we have another giveaway next week too.
We do have another giveaway. Nice. Follow the Instagrams. We'll be shouting those out again. Until next week, y'all better be good to yourselves and be good to everybody else. We'll see you in a week. Peace.